Welcome. I'm going to give you a recommendation on what cloud-based data architecture solution to use for your business. I decided to do a comparison between the two leaders in the field, Amazon Web Service and Microsoft Azure. I wanted to focus on these two because several of the other solutions fell behind in terms of business solution needs. So I wanted to do a compare and contrast between these two in order to understand which one might best suit the business's needs. For scalability purposes, Microsoft Azure offers 42 regions to choose from around the globe. Amazon Web Services offers 44. What this means is that latency can be reduced if we store the data closer to the customer or to the business. This is a good thing because less latency, the less latency affects speed. So there's less wait time in order to get the data that is being stored in these services. A good thing about each of these solutions is that they are both used by big companies. Azure is used by Geico Insurance, Uber, and ASOS. ASOS is a fashion online realtor, whereas Amazon Web Services is used by Spotify, Major League Baseball, and SoundCloud to host their data needs. Amazon Web Services also offers 3 different storage tiers, so we can pick what kind of storage solution we need based on our needs. It's standard storage, reduced redundancy storage, and Amazon Glacier, which is used for infrequently accessed data. So basically, if we have backups, if we have just legacy data, there is a storage solution in Amazon Web Services for that data. In terms of user friendliness, Microsoft Azure has a mind towards business customers, and they also integrate very well with Visual Studio and other Microsoft products. That means that if you're working within Visual Studio, there are a lot of plugins that make it really a one-click away to get your data into the cloud. That integration is very user-friendly. There's a lot less to learn. Whereas with Amazon Web Services, it has been said there's a learning curve due to all the configurations and features. However, with that being said, it has a lot more power behind it. We can get more custom configurations. We can leverage more of those features. It really just depends on what our business needs to do with that data. Further, it is open source friendly, meaning that we can use Linux. We can do any open source configuration we want to use. Amazon Web Services might be the way to go. However, if we're using the Microsoft stack, that integration is really key and it might save us some time. Privacy both offer compliance with terms of HIPAA, ISO, and whatnot. Microsoft Azure is contractually committed to the General Data Protection Regulation, which is a data standard that is being used throughout Europe and the United States. Azure is also used by the Department of Defense, and there's Active Directory integration. Same thing with Amazon Web Services. I don't have it as a bullet point here, but they also offer Active Directory integration. The security is better in the cloud than on-site storage is one of the key features it flouts on its site. And there's also much more further authorization features. In terms of privacy, there was not much difference between the two. They both offer very thorough privacy standards, and they all meet certain regulations. In terms of cost effective, the big thing here, both are pay as you go, but Microsoft Azure charges you by the minute, whereas Amazon Web Services charges by the hour. It depends on our data needs with that. When you hear charge by the minute versus charge by the hour, the knee-jerk reaction might be to charge by the hour, but depending on our data needs, if we're being charged a cent per every minute and $1 per hour, that's going to be 60 cents on the hour versus $1 an hour. So it really depends on what we need with our data. With that said, very similar, very competitive one with one another. I'm certain we could find the right solution based on our needs. Both support unstructured and structured data. So for Microsoft Azure, the relational data services, it integrates well with SQL database. And Amazon Web Services has Amazon RDS, which is their relational database service. And then they both offer various non-relational data services. So if we wanted to use NoSQL, we'd be fine there. My recommendation is essentially, does our shop use the Microsoft stack? Well, if we're using Visual Studio and other Microsoft tools, it would probably be better to use Microsoft Azure for ease of use because of the integration within the other Microsoft products. Otherwise, I say we should use Amazon Web Services simply because there's more features and more configurations to leverage. And further, Amazon Web Services is the leader in the game, so we should stick with the leader. Thank you for your time. Here are my sources that I used for this presentation.